Hi, I'm Tom Del Beccaro, author of The Divided Era. And on this very sad but important anniversary in American history, I wanted to talk to you about 3 lessons I think that we should understand related to 9/11. Now, the first one of which relates to our special place in history and who we are as a people. And you know, it's human nature to take certain things for granted once you luxuriate in the times that you're in. America is a very special place. It has unprecedented wealth. People live here in unprecedented freedom. And then the generations tend to take for granted the life around them, and they tend to believe that others in the world live in a somewhat similar fashion, when in fact they do not. The world is not like the United States. Sure, parts of Western Europe live well and live somewhat like the United States, but in every era, every generation, there are those that are quite unlike Americans and live a completely different life, as we have seen with the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan once again. There are always barbarians at the gate. And one lesson of 9/11 is that we, amidst our luxury, always need to remember that although we live in a special place, that special place in history is a moment in time. It is not guaranteed forever. And there are those who would use America as a scapegoat for their problems, internal problems, blame America, and then try and take advantage or use America to subjugate the people in their own country. That is the lesson that Hitler employed, Stalin employed, the Taliban employed, Al-Qaeda employed, and others throughout history. So lesson number 1 is, we may be doing quite well, but we always must remember that there are barbarians just outside the gate, maybe farther than usual, but because of technology, we can never forget their ability to strike like they did in 9/11. Lesson number 2 is that we need to be wary of being consumed by our own division. While we fight each other over politics at home, we tend to look away from the responsibilities and those dangers I just spoke about. This is also human nature, to not look to the outside when we fight among ourselves. Greek democracy, way back in the centuries, ended with the triumph of Philip of Macedon over a warring classes in ancient Greece. We can't consume ourselves with division and keep ourselves safe at the same time. That's a danger we need to avoid as well. Sure, we can and often do disagree, but we can't do it to such an extent that we forget to keep our homeland safe. That's one lesson of what occurred in 9/11 as well. And finally, the third lesson is a lesson we should know, but we don't, and it's related to the first 2. And that is, of course, that freedom is never free. It must be won every day. And as government grows, our freedoms decline. And as government grows, we may not be paying attention to the outside world as well. So the lessons of 9/11 are that we are a special country and people would come at us just because we are. And we need to be careful about that. Number 2, our own divisions cannot let us escape our responsibilities around the world or to turn away from them. And finally, number 3, we must always remember that freedom is unusual in history, and to keep it, we must fight for it every day. I'm Tom Del Beccaro. Please remember this special moment that is 9/11 in our history, so that we don't repeat our prior mistakes of ignoring the outside world or not cherishing and fighting for the freedoms we enjoy.